Excuse me. How's everybody doing today? I wasn't going to brag, but I'm just going to come on here again. My guy, Amedeus, and we're going to be joined by Joe Wiz from ESPN Radio, who I do the ESPN show with. And we're going to basically talk to you about these games yesterday because if you followed our picks again yesterday, you absolutely crushed it. Arsenal 3-0.
Literally said that exact score too.
Ren 1-3-1. Union Berlin, crazy game. We were watching because I gave that out to my guy, to Joe Wiz, and red card for Union Berlin. The match was halted for 30 minutes because they're they ran on the pitch. It was like crazy. And then
there was rockets and stuff like that.
It was crazy. And then Union Berlin scored. And I was like, man, tell your guy to cash that out right now. But he held it. I gave out Sociedad 2-0. Manchester United finally came back and won.
I took you United when they were down at halftime. It was like -110. And I was like, that's disrespectful for a second half to go.
Yeah, and it was 1-0 at the time. Like, come on, man, you're playing like it's Cyprus, I think. Like,
yeah,
I guess. Cyprus. And then West Ham won at plus money. Monaco, kind of mentioned a little bit. West Ham won at plus money. Man, Villarreal, that's an ugly win.
Throw Olympiacos in the trash.
I didn't take that.
And you could throw Braga in the trash too, man. They had a 1-0 lead, and in the last 10 minutes, they blow it. They allow the tying goal. They allow the tying goal in the 85th, and then they lose it in the 94th.
Wow. I didn't see that. I would have been mad.
Yeah, I was.
When I put my bets in PA, and I'm over in Jersey, I can't cash them out, which sucks. Like, even though it's the same account or whatever, but like
that's all that location stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal. So, yeah, look, man, we crushed it.
Half the time I'm in my house, and that things are telling me I'm not in Ontario, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
I used to have that problem a lot during when I was covering the Trenton Thunder because it's right on the river. And it wouldn't recognize that I was in New Jersey. I'm like, man, I would have to drive like a block in to Trenton to get the thing taken care of. So it was a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. Put my guy Joe Wiz's picture up there. Let me see if we got this background. Take this down for a second. Joe Wiz, there it is. So he's going to be on for the final half hour. He's going to kind of explain what we do over there at ESPN, and maybe someday he'll join and have a video show on here. So, but we want to just get into the soccer quickly. I don't know. Did you look at? Is there anything today you like from these games? Osasuna, Valencia. It's like some QPR Reading's a good game, but I'm not betting. There's some games that are like really, really tough to bet, but I don't know if you like any of them.
Yeah, there's some interesting ones. Considering the form Osasuna has been in, like, might take a shot at the plus 140. For them to beat Valencia, because Valencia is not a great team, and even when they do play well, it's mainly at home. They don't score a lot on the road. They try to just play defensively, and I think Osasuna could probably squeak a goal or two out, get the win in that one, considering they're off to such a hot start.
Yeah, that's interesting, and the lines, yeah, like you say here, it's a plus 145, so almost plus one.
Just keeps going up.
Yeah, that's an interesting game. These other games today, I don't trust Leon at all. Listen, the biggest fan I follow on Twitter doesn't trust him, and he's a fan. I'm not trusting him. Hoffenheim and Bremen. Yeah.
And that Werder Bremen team is something else. You got to watch out for them. You can't trust Hoffenheim in this spot.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. Hoffenheim in 5th. I mean, the Bundesliga table once again, like this is. I mean, Union Berlin's in 1st at 17 points, and Mainz is in 12th at 11. I don't, you just don't know. Wolfsburg are probably. I mean, it's Bayer Leverkusen's right now. Just sacked their managers.
Did you see Alonso is going to take over?
Yeah, it's Liverpool bastard. But
maybe Leverkusen gets their crap together now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and the other big story from today, I don't know if you saw it. Nottingham Forest decided to give Steve Cooper a 3-year extension. So everybody was calling for him to be sacked, and they went the other way. They said, "Look, we want some structure. We want some." Maybe a little bit of. We wanted to calm it down. He got us up last year. We're gonna stick with him right now, which is a bold strategy. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Love that movie.
It's amazing. He goes from that to to Ozark, which is
man, it's so. He did Arrested Development. That guy's got so many good shows and movies. Just everything he does is a banger.
Yep. Nottingham Forest right now, when you look, I mean, there's 4 teams with 1 win in the Premier League, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more with 2 wins. So, I mean, geez, like if Nottingham Forest wins a game, they'll probably be up into 10th.
Looking like the NFL out here.
Yeah, man. I didn't watch that game last night, but I heard it was the worst game ever played. So I'm glad I didn't watch it. I say I'm a Broncos fan. I don't really care, to be honest. Like, if they win the Super Bowl, I'm happy. I don't watch. It's the same with Florida State. Like, really, the only 2 sports I watch right now, my teams are Manchester United and if I get a chance, I'll North Carolina basketball. But they play so many games, it's hard to watch them all. I put them on the calendar to watch, but I never get a chance. But these other games, man, you can't. I don't understand how I can watch that stuff. It's so bad. Like the Broncos are so bad.
Yeah, man. Like I didn't bet on that game, but it was painful just to watch. And you can be happy knowing your Broncos are getting the prime time spotlight again next Monday. I'm pretty sure.
I think Monday Night Football again.
Yeah,
this is the 4th time. This is the 4th time they've been in primetime.
It's ridiculous. They don't belong in primetime.
The coach stinks. I don't care.
He goes for it on 4th and 1 in overtime. And like, how do you not run the ball? Russell Wilson has so much like baggage in his career, goal line interceptions. He threw an interception in the literally like last drive of the regulation they had, and you're gonna let him throw the ball on 4th and 1. It's a joke.
Yeah, that guy's not a head coach. He stinks. I'm already down on him. He won't last there. If the Broncos
even Richard Sherman ripped him apart for throwing the ball on that play.
Yeah, if they're smart, they get rid of this guy now. It's just not going to work. Just let him go back to wherever the hell he was as a coordinator. Some of these guys that are coordinators just don't become coaches. It is what it is, man. But you can a lot of times you see it early with these guys, and you're just like you can stick with them or whatever. But this, I guess it's the opposite of that guy from Nottingham Forest here. So tomorrow. Got a lot of games, starting with there's what once again what is going on tomorrow? Why is there no morning game tomorrow
for the Premier League?
Yeah, like why? Like I just
good question. I didn't notice that.
I didn't. You know what? I didn't see it. I thought the Chelsea Wolves game. Chelsea Wolves was 100% at 7:30, and now it's at 10. Like I just don't understand what's happening. And then that now on Sunday, what the hell is this? Manchester United plays at 2:00 now.
They definitely switched something then.
And 2:00.
You know I'm
What's
eyeing that one Sunday game. I think you can guess the one.
West Ham, Fulham,
No, 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 no. The one right under that.
Arsenal, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my game. I picked that. Um, I picked that for on ESPN. Let's see. The away parlay turned up good. West Ham, Fiorentina, Union Berlin, Man United, PSV, Nice win as well. The home parlay was a shocker. Olympiacos, Braga, Basel. Yeah, but
Can't
Foxy,
trust them.
that away parlay probably paid for your house for the next 10 years. So if you had that one, man. I know you were sweating that Union Berlin game with me, but I had a couple parlays yesterday, but you know, not like that. But you know, just to start taking a look at this slate here in the Premier League this weekend. Um, Bournemouth, Leicester City right away. I took Bournemouth last week. I watched Leicester City absolutely annihilate Nottingham Forest. Leicester goes on the road here. I haven't been great on the road, but you're getting Leicester at plus 102. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that game.
You know, I don't trust them. Like, yeah, they had the big 4-0 win against Nottingham, but I don't know. I might be looking at maybe a total in this game. But even then, it's tough to say because Bournemouth has been playing very well defensively lately. They've really fixed their problems there, and they're going to be at home here. I think they're coming off the 0-0 draw or whatever it was, their last one.
Yep.
Yeah, and Leicester, as you said, you can't trust this team on the road. You just can't. And it's so tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna back Leicester. I think. I just have a feeling they're gonna just.
They have the talent. They do have the talent.
I think they might go on a little run here. Who do they have next week?
Yeah, they got to get it themselves out of the gutter there for sure.
Where were they playing? They play Crystal Palace next week, and then the midweek after that on Thursday they play Leeds at home, and then they play Wolves away, and then they have Manchester City. So that these next 4 games, I just feel like they could go on a little bit of a run here. I like Daka to score if he starts for Leicester. Unfortunately, Vardy's passed. He shouldn't start. Madison on fire. Yeah, Vardy shouldn't start.
They've been playing Daka more lately. I think in the last one, didn't he get the start over Vardy?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I saw Vardy out. Maybe they both did, but I'm going to take a chance with Leicester. I think they're going to start going on a little roll here. And if they start winning these games, you're not going to get them anymore at plus 102. So I'm going to try to grab them now. Chelsea, Wolves.
You laying 1.5 with Chelsea?
I don't know. Wolves have a new coach. That always kind of I will probably back away from this game. I just don't like. Sometimes when you have, I don't even know who the Wolves coach is going to be. Let's see if they named him.
It's funny. They lost their last match 2-0 to West Ham, but I thought they played pretty well in that one. Like they were out shooting West Ham for a little bit. So maybe you get a little more of an attacking effort from whoever their new manager is. Enough of this terror ball, but we'll see, right? It's a team like Brighton now. You just have to kind of watch.
Yeah, it's interesting. Who's going to be in charge? Blah, 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 blah. I was announced the coach part of ways. Steve Davis. Under 18, under 21 boss Steve Davis and James Collins are going to take temporary charge before head coach is appointed. It was weird. I saw a lot of people picking Wolves to go down this year, and I just didn't know why. I guess maybe because the striker, like they just don't score goals. But always pretty good defensively, but they've been terrible this year. I think they're in 18th now. Got 3 draws.
Always say it, man. You got to score goals to stay in this league.
Yeah, you got to. This whoever comes in here has to change the way they play. And I thought Lodge was pretty good when he came in last year. I thought he did a pretty good job, but you can't be. They only have 3 goals. The fact that they have one win and 3 draws with only 3 goals scored is pretty interesting. Obviously they've only allowed 9 goals, which is, it's almost the same as Manchester City's allowed. Nine goals, 7 goals is the least by Everton. So 9 is one of the teams that have it's around some of the closest teams here. It's not like Leicester City and Nottingham Forest, but yeah, I don't know. I always back away from games like this. You got to bet Chelsea 1.5, like you said. I mean, even at 1.25, -1 is 160. They could have a result. You have Vardy started. Yeah, that's right.
Interesting. The under 2.5 is even money. And I find it interesting for the style that the Wolves play. Like, they're going to be clinging to life this entire game with their defense.
0-0 is 1,100. 1-0 is 550. 1-1 750. 1-0 Wolves 1,500. I don't know. Chelsea just played a really massive game midweek. I know they're home here and have a really massive game next week. So we'll see. Maybe they rotate a little bit, but this is probably a game I say, I'm gonna back away from this game, to be honest. But if you feel like maybe Wolves double chance at plus 205 is worth, I don't even know if I would do that. I would probably do Wolves plus 1.5. Before I would do that at -141. I just think maybe it's a close game, but I don't know. It could be 3-0 Chelsea, so you could lose that as well.
Well, you could even take the over if you think Chelsea's just going to come out and smash them, because you're getting -125 for the over. That's really not that bad.
I don't know if they're going. I don't really know if they will. Maybe a game that's going to get smashed is Manchester City here. Player goals, Erling Haaland to score 3 goals is plus 575. He's done it in all 3 of his previous games. He's plus 165 to score at least 2 goals, which is absolutely ridiculous. That should be like plus 300.
He's an animal.
He's going to be minus 315 to score. That's the highest I've ever seen. I've never seen a bet like. Imagine minus 315. You have to lay for a guy to score a goal, which who the hell knows? I mean, he might not even play. I'm sure he's going to start, but it's crazy.
11 guys on the pitch.
Yeah. And it's minus 2.5 for Manchester City. Like, I don't know. I know they just played 5-0. They're not going to take anybody to Denmark, or I'm sure maybe they take a skeleton squad or whoever. Injuries starting to pile up. Kyle Walker's out for a while. As long as Haaland is healthy, they'll be fine. If Haaland ever does get hurt, they're in trouble. They're going to go back to the way they are. I know Julian Alvarez, blah, 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 but Haaland is a different guy. If they're Haaland and De Bruyne, if either of those two gets lost for any period of time, it's a different team. But, that's wishing on a star at this point. But can you bet that game at minus 2.5? I mean, would you even bet it or not?
No, I hate 1.5 is my limit. I won't take a team.
It sucks because I'd like to
like 5-0.
Yeah, I'd like to bet City because they're so good. But once again in the league, they have 2 draws. Like they've outscored teams 29-9, but they've had 2 draws. You look at the results. I mean, every once in a while, 1-1 with Villa, and Villa probably should have won the match. 3-3 with Newcastle.
They were down 3-1, 3-0 in that one. What was it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it was. They're down 3-1. Yeah, they're down 3-1 and scored 2 goals in 3 minutes. It's just ridiculous. Like they can just turn the switch on. I mean, they either score 6 goals, 6, 4, 3, 4. 2. I mean, they just score so many goals, but every once in a while they'll have a game like that. It doesn't usually happen. It doesn't usually happen at home. Both of them are on the road. So, this one is at home. So probably just knock out Southampton. Newcastle, Brentford. There's Foxy. Where's Foxy? Foxy, we're going to talk about your Newcastle team. They turned the corner last week, and now you can get him at -1. He hopes.
A red card in the first 15 minutes of the game really destroyed that for Fulham. Like, is that really turning the corner?
Hey, listen. Now they're learning. You pay the refs off, and like City does, and everybody, PSG's done, and there you go. Then Barcelona, and then you get it. Barcelona, the problem with Barcelona is now the payments bounced for the thing, so now they got this money. Now they better start paying the refs again, or else they're going to be in trouble. Allegedly, Newcastle, Brentford. I'd like to wait to see if this game comes down a little bit to minus 120 something, but minus 134 is not terrible. And I don't know how good Brentford is. I know they have a lot of goals. Newcastle United doesn't give up a lot of goals. I think they're starting to get a little healthy. Manchester City team total over 4.5. Foxy, man, we're on to your team now, man. We're on to your team. 285, I guess. I just think every once in a while they're going to play this game where it's just 2-0 and they conserve energy. I don't think it'll be against Southampton, but yeah, that's probably a good bet. Maybe over 3.5 plus 120 as well. If you're going to do over 4.5, you might as well do over 3.5 too. Not always easy playing against 10 men. Newcastle showed the way to do it versus Fulham. Villa, the opposite versus Leeds, 100%. I think sometimes, especially when you get, I think sometimes you get the later card and teams get galvanized a little bit. Hey, we only have to hold out. I think sometimes when you get a red card in the first 10 minutes, it's just like, we're not holding out. There's no way. And once the first goal goes in, that's it. You're done. I mean, it's just like the gates open because now, they can either sit back. Like some teams will just sit back, but they either sit back or else they get rolled. If they have to open up. But I always think that first goal is so obviously is pivotal. But if you can get a first goal earlier in the game and you're not like chasing the game, I think it's pretty big. But I'm trying to just Foxy. What do you think here? Do you like this game at all, or not really?
That was minus 125 for Newcastle yesterday, so that's actually gone up a bit. It's it's an interesting one because Brentford does like to score goals, but I don't know. I don't think they play as well on the road.
Yes.
And even the total is interesting. You got the over at minus 125 and the under at plus 100 there. I don't know. I might take a shot on the over just because Newcastle's coming off a strong performance with 4 goals. Maybe they carry that over into this game. And Brentford's the kind of team where I can see them scoring. Like they normally put in a lot of goals. They're almost like a Fulham. The last few years in the Premier League, they've been trending to the over quite a bit. So that might be one way to look at it. But then again, Newcastle's got a great defense and they could just shut Brentford down right here. So it's tough to say. If Newcastle's starting to turn the corner, I think that Newcastle on the money line would be a good bet. It's just I need to see a little more from them.
It looks like St. Maximin could return from a hamstring injury. Alexander Isak is out still by injury. Joe Linton could be reinstated to the starting 11. So if Maximin plays, St. Maximin plays, I think that's big. He's there. Yeah. Thanks, Foxy. He's back this weekend, and Wilson, the team, much more clinical. He will score. Yeah, this team, if they're healthy with Isak and St. Maximin and Joe Linton back in, who's turned into the guy was so vilified as he couldn't score goals, and they moved him back to midfield, and he's become like a monster. And you have to kind of tip your hat to Eddie Howe there because they could have just give up on this guy and just kind of not, but he works so hard. Even when you just watch him play, and you're like, man, you kind of feel bad for him because he works hard and he just wasn't scoring goals. Now as a midfielder, he's kind of found his role, and I think it's been pretty good for him. So, if they start to get healthy, I think they're a much better team. I think they'll after the World Cup, if everybody comes back healthy, they'll be a better team. But you look at it right now. They're already up in 7th. And they only have 2 wins. They got a ton of draws. They only have 1 loss. But they need to, if they turn a couple of these draws into wins over the next few months, all of a sudden, maybe they're battling here for European spot. So I do like Newcastle here. I would say you're better off betting it before the line moves because, like Amedeus said, it's moved like 10 cents already. The afternoon game Saturday is Brighton and Tottenham, which is very. I don't know. Tottenham was brutal during the week in that Champions League game. I think their squad, even though it's a little bit deeper, it's not as deep as some of these other teams. Brighton was off, and Brighton played really well against Spurs last week, but or against Liverpool last week. I don't know. This game is tough to me.
I like the under in this one. I think I've seen enough from Tottenham in their last few road matches. They're not scoring goals. I don't even think, what do they have? Maybe like one win in their last 4 or 5, if even that. I don't even think they've won. I think it's all been draws and losses on the road for them. So, because I know they took the Sporting loss, they took the draw, I guess, with Frankfurt, and then there was a few Premier League matches they haven't been playing.
They drew on the road to West Ham. They lost to Arsenal. Yeah, they haven't been playing well on the road. I think Conte kind of, they drew with Chelsea. Terrible, man. I hate that stuff. That counterattack, man.
And, Brighton's got a good defense. So I could see this being one where they got a good squad. They know they got a good squad coming into town. They're at home with the new manager. They might be thinking we ripped the point away from Liverpool last week. Let's try to get at least one more point here. And then we'll beat up on some bad teams in the upcoming games.
Yeah, I agree. I think, AB says Brighton win. Look,
yeah, could see it.
Jim Bob said Newcastle look tough to beat. Yeah, listen, they are. They just, if they start turning those draws into wins, they're going to be very tough to beat, and they're going to be in Europe next year. This Brighton team, AB, I kind of agree with you. I think it's a tough spot for Tottenham because when you look at the Champions League tables right now, Tottenham is second, 4 points with Frankfurt, but they have to play Frankfurt again after that 0-0 draw. They need to win that game. And now Marseille has a chance to jump over them if Marseille beats Sporting next week again. So after they just pummeled them last time. So Tottenham really needs to win that game. I would think, and that game is it Tuesday or Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday this week. I would think that Tottenham might rotate here because of the fact that they need to win that game at home in the Champions League. Tottenham cannot get knocked out of the Champions League. There's no way. He's way off form. I agree. He had those 3 goals coming off the bench that one time. But they cannot get knocked out of the Champions League. And I think if he has to rotate and play a little more defensively in this game against Brighton, maybe he'll do that. So maybe take a chance with Brighton. Brighton and draw is probably going to be minus 190. Yeah, that's not worth it. So Sunday, Palace, Leeds, West Ham, Fulham, Arsenal, Liverpool, and what do you call it? So we're going to be joined now. Before we jump on, we're going to be joined by my guy here, Joe Wiz. Waiting for him to come in. Got the circle.
The system hasn't been treating you well lately.
I don't know. I'm trying to see what is going on. So we'll wait for him here. All right, so while we're waiting for him, Joe, can you hear us? Ground control to Major Joe. See if he's coming in here. Yeah, I think it's his Wi-Fi. Anyway, we'll wait for him. Anyway, so we'll talk about these games because he's gonna want to talk about a little bit of football and stuff. So
hello,
there he is. Joe Wiz.
Hey, I'm here.
All right. Hey, how are you, Joe? We're gonna put the banners up here. for Joe. Joe and I host a show on ESPN Radio on Friday night and Saturday mornings, and Saturday night and Sunday mornings, called the Feinline. It's going to be at the bottom of your screen here, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of this college football and NFL games this weekend. And you can find us on ESPN New York on TuneIn Radio, any kind of streaming device. You can go right to the site and do that as well. So, Joe, how you doing today?
Beautiful day here. It's getting ready for some baseball action, which starts here. Your Rays are going to be in action. That total, I don't know if you saw it, Sean. I haven't seen a 5.5 total in a long time, but the total in this Rays in Indians, the Guardian game has dropped to 5.5 in many places.
Yeah, I see it here. That is a little bit ridiculous. And Amedeus, are you on any baseball games today? Are you looking for some of these games? Because Joe's looking at some of these games and with some intent here.
Yeah, man, there's a lot I like. I kind of like all of them a little bit. I think it's hard to tell with these unders. Like, there's going to be low-scoring games, but with a 5.5, that was a 6 yesterday. Like, 5.5 is not something I want any part of in that game. But, McClanahan, it's interesting. McClanahan's been a better pitcher on the road this season, so I don't think you're going to see too much scoring, but then again, the Guardians have smashed lefties, so it's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure.
What, Joe? How about these? The big game tonight is the Padres and the Mets. The Mets kind of blew that division down the stretch here, and now
I knew you were going to bring that up. I know you were all over the Atlanta Braves for 2 months, and you kept telling me to bet the Braves. Sure enough, it was a slow torture for the Mets, giving up a 10.5 game lead. But hey, listen, you know what? It is what it is. The Mets are in the playoffs. They got the Padres, and all these games here are very, very competitive today. The Mets actually are the biggest favorite at minus 140, 143 at some sports books I see, and a lot of people are going to question if the Mets don't win this game, how does Buck Showalter explain not having the best pitcher in baseball, DeGrom, pitching game one? He's rolling the dice here because, whenever you're down playing 0-1 and then all of a sudden you have to play DeGrom tomorrow, it's a different perspective here. But I do like Scherzer this game here a little bit. Not much, but I do like the Mets to rebound. I think the Padres had to travel. Mets are at home. They're rested. And Scherzer very rarely has poor back-to-back performances here, and he didn't pitch well in Atlanta. None of the pitchers did in the Mets game. But I favor Scherzer over Darvish. That's the main reason why I like that matchup.
We got the stuff running at the bottom of the screen here. If you want to try to find Joe, you can find him on Instagram, Joe Wiz Sports, and Twitter, Joe Wiz Sports, and go to his page, joewizsports.com, his webpage, and you can get. We got this new thing coming up. It's a free copy of the tip sheet. You can get this tip sheet and free picks and all this stuff. So if you go over to that website, we're going to have that running at the bottom of the page. How's that been going, the tip sheet, Joe?
Hey, it's going great. Last week, my best bet was the Raiders. And, I know you're a big Bronco fan. And I don't even know what you're thinking this morning. Russell Wilson might be a bust. So what are you thinking? Russell Wilson's a bust or what? But when you take a look at it here, I don't know who you're going to blame it on. Are you going to blame it on that coach, Hackett? But anyway, last week I had the Raiders that were 0-3, and I used them as my best bet. I just felt that they were going to come out and play well. And now, obviously the Raiders have a whole new different perspective this week. They got to travel to Arrowhead on Monday. But, the tip sheet, we give out some picks in college football, the NFL, and hopefully we're going to be getting some soccer picks from you, the genius, so we can post them up there as we get close to the World Cup. I know you've been rocking and rolling. Congratulations. 3-0 yesterday on your soccer picks.
That's right. Yeah. And we got, my guy here, Amedeus. We are the soccer betting geniuses right now. So he's got his picks going and winning like crazy. We had a real big week today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the Europa League. There's some football games tonight. There's some college football. There was nothing last night, which was weird. There was the Wednesday night game, and there's 3 games Friday night, and or 4 games actually. Nebraska, Rutgers, which is a decent game. I mean, name wise, Houston, Memphis, Colorado State, Nevada, UNLV, San Jose State. what do you think about this slate of games Friday night?
Well, when you take a look at it, Rutgers, we're not sure what to expect with them. I mean, the last time they played at home, they played Iowa, and they didn't play that bad. They just had a couple of turnovers. They're getting 3. I don't trust Nebraska. I don't think Nebraska should be favored over anybody, to be honest with you. So if I was playing that game, I would lean towards Rutgers in that game, plus the 3, because I just don't trust Nebraska. And I think Shiano, even last week against Ohio State, he didn't play bad. He got blown out, but he did cover the 40-point spread. I did give you Rutgers plus 40 last week, and I think we covered by 1 point.
Wow, that's crazy. No, we got we do a lot of soccer. We also do this football. I know Amedeus has some. Usually on Friday, we look through the Saturday slate. Amedeus, you have any games you're looking at, or you want to maybe talk to Joe Wiz about?
Yeah, I totally agree with Joe on the Rutgers aspect. That I think Greg Schiano's, he's been turning this program around over the last few years, and I think they're building to something. Rutgers is going to be motivated in this game. Did you know they've lost their last 20 straight home games against conference opponents? The last time I think they had a win against a Big Ten team at home was back in 2017 against Maryland. I don't know the team, but yeah, it's been a while since they.
I think it was Maryland. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so they're going to be, I think, motivated. And I even would like the under in this game because you're going to have 2 good defenses. As Joe said, they didn't play bad against Iowa. You're asking them to go and beat, they're at home, but you're asking them to beat one of the best defenses in the Big Ten. And, obviously Ohio State's the 3rd best team in the country. They've had a tough schedule the last 2 games. And I think I totally agree. Nebraska shouldn't be favored against anybody. I'm not buying into this team. That was a big emotional win, first win with their interim coach. So I'm not expecting much out of Nebraska.
Lex Steele, thanks for checking in. He likes the Rutgers money line there a little bit. Just remember, if you're looking to get some of these plays in, follow Joe Wiz on his Instagram and Twitter at Joe Wiz Sports, and you can go right over to the website and sign up for his free newsletter, and it gives you all these picks. And he's been red hot. He's been giving out some of the football plays and the soccer plays, and we have the show together on ESPN. It's on at midnight tonight and 6 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, and then same thing Saturday and Sunday. You can find it all over the place. But tomorrow, I think, some of the games we were looking at, Utah and Utah UCLA at 3:30. You got some of the later games. You got Alabama playing at 8 o'clock, I think. You got BYU, Notre Dame. I mean, Joe, you want to talk about any of those games you got tomorrow?
Yeah, well, we take a look at this matchup here with UCLA. Nobody's really taking them seriously. I mean, they're ranked 19th in the country. Last week, they had a big win over Washington. And this quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he's completing 74%. That means every 10 passes, he completes 7.5 out of those 10 passes, which is a very high completion ratio. 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and they got a good running back in Zach Carbonet. He's averaging 6.4 yards per game. And Bruins have scored 40, 45, and 32 points in the last 3 games. And they're going to need it, Sean. You know why? Because Utah has crushed this team the last 3 times they've met them. Last year, they won 44-24. 2019, they won 49-3. And in 2018, they won 41-10. They've outscored UCLA 134-137 in the last 3 games here. This is going to be I think it's going to be a very competitive game. The line's at 3.5. The total 64. This game will be over at 64 in the 3rd quarter.
Wow. It's Amedeus, did you look at this game at all? Or this ranked matchup?
Man, I hate this UCLA team. They've burned me so many times. I think I cashed them in week 1 against Bowling Green, and then they let me down against South Alabama. I bet against them last week against Washington, and I'm done with them. I'm not looking at Chip Kelly anymore. They don't got fans showing up to the Rose Bowl anymore. I want nothing to do with UCLA.
Yeah, I like Utah a little bit in this game. I'll probably take it down to -3 or -2.5. I don't want to get burned by the hook there at 3.5. And then you got I think that 8 o'clock game. Alabama or BYU and Notre Dame playing in Las Vegas, and then you got Alabama playing Texas A&M, and that line's already up to 24 now. Joe, you got any thoughts on that Alabama Texas A&M game?
Yeah, when you look at it here, there's some storylines between this Jimbo Fisher, former offensive coordinator for Saban, and when they won the national championship back, I think it was 2003. Alabama's heavily favored here, and looking for revenge after losing last year by 3 in College Station. The question mark though is Bryce. We don't know if he's going to be playing. I saw this morning that Nick Saban said he's going to be a game time decision, so you can't really make a bet on this game. I know Alabama's got a good backup quarterback, but until you know if Bryce Young's going to play in this game here, I would tell you to be careful with it because, they got a backup in Jalen Milroe, and he ran for a 77-yard touchdown run last year, but he's not going to be I don't know how good of a passer he is. And laying 24 points, even with Alabama, but without knowing the status of their quarterback, that to me, with Bryce Young, is going to be a game-time decision. If he plays, again, with this game here, Alabama scores a ton of points. Their last 3 games, they've scored 49, 55, and 63. I tell people, hey, if you're not sure about a game, I don't like playing big favorites in general, so I usually like to play a dog, and if I don't like the dog, I'll make it take a look at the total. And Bama's just been scoring a ton of points, and hopefully A&M can score because they got blown out last week at Mississippi State 42-24. But right now, my inclination would be to play the over in this game as well. I think Bama puts 50 on the board, especially if Bryce Young plays.
We got some the people watching have a question. Jim Bob has a question. He's asking about this Houston-Memphis game tonight. Houston's been really disappointing starting the year ranked and just really kind of struggling. And the line's 2.5 there at Memphis. Do you have any, and the over-under 57.5, do you have any kind of thoughts on that game or Amedeus, would you have any thoughts on that game?
You said it yourself. Houston's been so bad. They were the favorite to win this conference, and they did go up. They did go up against a very good defense in Tulane last week, but to lose to a third-string quarterback, this guy was thrusted into the game in like the second drive, and to lose at home, you had fans booing. I think Dana Holgerson even told the fans to F off at one point when they were going into overtime. I want nothing to do with this Houston team. It's so dysfunctional. You got a 5th-year quarterback, and you can't get your offense figured out. Ridiculous.
So Lex says, Lex Steele says,
this Memphis team, I'm not sure what to expect with them either. They played a very light schedule, so I can't get a good read on them. They beat Temple 24-3, North Texas, Arkansas State, and Navy. So we really don't know what to expect of them right now because they're 4-1, but they really haven't really beaten anybody. And the one game they did play at Mississippi State, they got blown out 49-23. So I don't really like the game, to be honest with you. In this game, I don't like the total. And Memphis just playing at home. Maybe they're a small favorite, 2.5. Maybe I would play Memphis on the money line. That's what I would do if I was going to play the game.
Yeah, Lex Steele, Houston lost his double-digit favorites. They couldn't cover his favorites. He had Tulane money line, so that's a good bet right there, Lex. So we're going to talk. We're going to talk about the NFL and then the Sunday slate and soccer. But just real quickly here, Joe. We do this show on ESPN and they call it the Feinline, and you have all the website and everything. If you want to just, I know you have a big money management system that you do. If you want to just talk a little bit about what you do and how I know you placed the largest recorded wager in New Jersey history. You're and the first one. So just tell the people about who you are and what you've done.
Yeah, on my website, joewizsports.com, I did make the biggest legal bet ever in the state of New Jersey, and it was like 4 years ago. Boy, does time fly! That sports betting was legal in New Jersey. It was down at Monmouth Park, which I'm an avid horse racing fan, so it was down at Monmouth Park, and it was in the middle of summertime, and we had made a bet in baseball. It was a baseball game. I remember, I think it was San Francisco Giants, and it went to extra innings, but we won the game. It was a $10 wager. At that time, that was the biggest legal bet made opening day in the state of New Jersey. So I'll be in the records forever as far as that's concerned. And, they can see my video if they want. Go to joewizsports.com. And as far as money management, yeah, people always ask me, Sean, what's your winning percentage? And everyone likes to hear 80%, but 80% is not a realistic number. 75% isn't. Even 70% isn't. You can make thousands of dollars if you hit 60%. And that's what's the most misleading thing about it. Money management is very key, especially this day and age with the economy the way it is. People money manage when they go to the supermarket, when you're going to buy gasoline. You should treat your money the same way when you go to the sports book. You don't want to sit there and just bet all your money all on one game. And certain games you might, I can give you 2 games you bet $100 on. Say if those 2 lost and you lost $220, and then you bet 2 games for $500 each and you won those 2 and you picked up $1,000. So your profit could be almost $800 and your record's 2-2 and your winning percentage is 50%. So it's more about money management and how you manage your money, because people generally bet too many games. They're betting 5, 6, 7, 8 games a day, and that's a recipe for a disaster.
Yeah, and Amedeus, his Twitter handle is AM Plus Money. I mean, he's a big plus money guy, and Foxy, who's listening, who tunes in from I think he's down in Colombia, right? He's an Englishman in Colombia. He says whoever plays in white at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will make them Spursian lose. The Saints lost last week. That's correct. I think the Giants are in white, so take the Packers if you have it, which is a good segue right into the NFL here. And remember, listen, if you're looking, go to Joe Wiz's Twitter. It's right at the bottom here. We got it right running at the bottom of the handle here, and it's in the show description today. His his website, his Twitter, and his Instagram right in the YouTube. So you can just copy and paste it and go follow him. Gives out free picks every day, kind of the same way we do. Talking about that game, the Giants, a huge game over in London, Giants and Packers, and that line's already up to 7, or it's down to 7.5. It was around 8, so maybe some money coming in on the Giants. You excited to watch that game at Tottenham Stadium to Sunday morning, early a.m.?
Amedeus, I'm going to defer to you. I don't want to hog up the whole show.
You know what? I find this interesting because I think 8's a really big number. We're talking about a Green Bay team that just almost lost to the Patriots at home with Bailey Zappi coming in the game for them. And now you want them to fly to a foreign country on a neutral site and blow the Giants out of the water, when I think Brian Daboll's you like to talk about offensive coordinators not cutting it out as head coaches, Sean. Well, Brian Daboll, I think, might be the only one that's going to make it, because he's doing wonders with this Giants. Got no roster. He's playing a different wide receiver in every game. Daniel Jones is garbage. He's not going to be with the team next year. And Saquon Barkley really is the only constant on this team, surprisingly, when many people thought his career was done after all the injuries he's gone through. But yeah, I just think 8's a little too much to be laying in a foreign country here.
It's interesting too, because the 2 New York teams, are have a chance here. The Jets and the Dolphins and the Giants and the Packers. Joe. I mean, this Giants game is it's a big game it's the biggest game in years for probably the Giants and the Jets, right?
Absolutely. And when you look at it here, everyone talks about the Green Bay Packers, and they remember the Packers when they were the old Packers, when they had Devontae Adams and they were scoring a ton of points. But Packers have struggled on offense. They haven't really played that well. 3 of their games have got the total, and on there as well. And we know the backup quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, is not going to play because he's in concussion protocol. So points could be at a premium here. If the Giants are to stay competitive in this game, they're going to need to have a good defensive game plan. They're going to need to keep the ball away from Rodgers and try and establish a rushing attack, Saquon Barkley, and he looks like the pick that they spent as a number 2 draft pick in the NFL. Giants have gone under 3 or 4. The total this game's at 41. Both teams traveling to London. I can see this game, being a low-scoring game, and my play in this game would be under, and I wouldn't lay the points. I don't like playing the side and total in a given game. My official play would be under, but if you twisted my arm, I can see the Giants covering the spread as well.
And how this Jets-Dolphins game is massive game. I mean, Jets got a home game here, and the Dolphins, no Tua, Jets defense is looking pretty good. I mean, that was a really, really huge comeback last week. A huge drive there. Zach Wilson go down the field big for Robert Saleh, big for the Jets, and now they get a Dolphins team. If the Jets win this game, they're 3-2. All of a sudden, man, the fans are hyped. I mean, this is a tough game, I guess, for both teams here, right?
Yeah, when you look at it here, Miami's favored on the road by 3.5. Teddy Bridgewater will be quarterbacking. Tua definitely will not be playing with the concussion protocol he's in. When you take a look at here, the Miami Dolphins just 1-7 against the spread in this series. And Zach Wilson, hey, he hasn't played since last year, and other than last week in Pittsburgh, and he played really well. He had 2 drives, one for 81 yards and one for 65 yards. A rally from a 10-point deficit on the road. And ironically, the Jets have won both games on the road at the Dog Pound and at Pittsburgh, 2 of the tougher venues in the NFL, and they've lost both games at home. I'm calling an upset, but I am taking the Jets +4 as a backup.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. If you're going to bump it up, and some books have it at 3, some at 3.5. I mean, when you're talking to these guys, like, would you like to bet these games up, right, and just avoid the -3?
Listen, I'm a very generous guy, but when it comes to betting, I'm a very greedy, and I get as many points as I can. I always try and put myself in the best position. If you're laying 3 with Miami, you have to put up -125, and that's basically what the half a point is, more or less. Earlier in the week, I had taken the Jets. The line was 3.5. I was able to buy a half point and get it to 4. So whenever I see lines where it's 2.5 and 3.5, and if I'm taking the dog, I'm always grabbing an extra half point. I tell people, hey, most of the times you're not going to need it, but when you do, sometimes a push is as good as a victory because you get to live for another game. I refuse to allow myself to get burnt by any hook. So whenever there's a hook involved, I take it to my advantage, whether it's playing the favorite. Like earlier we talked about college football with the Memphis-Houston game. That line's 2.5. I'm not even messing. If I was playing that game, I would just do the money line. This way there is no hook involved. But here with the Jets, 3.5, I'm buying it to 4. And it wouldn't surprise me if this game is decided by a field goal either way, and I'm getting 4. So I would feel comfortable with that wager.
All right, so we're going to switch real. Foxy's talking about the NFL team being a positive. I'm not sure about a team, Foxy, but I think there's going to be a Super Bowl there at some point. I mean, they built that stadium for the Super Bowl, 100%. So they have these games. They're playing more games there. And speaking of Tottenham Stadium and the Premier League, 4 big games on Sunday. A little bit of a weird schedule. It's almost MLS-y here. There, no windows on Saturday, but you got West Ham, Fulham, Arsenal, Liverpool, Everton against Manchester United. Let's go. And then Crystal Palace, Leeds United. I know, Joe, we talked a little bit about some of these games. I mean, you've been Amedeus is an AC Milan fan, but Joe gave out Chelsea the other day. So Chelsea won that game 3-0, and he's been pretty hot with his soccer plays here. West Ham, Fulham, Arsenal, Liverpool, obviously the biggest game of the weekend. And, you're getting pretty big money, plus 150, plus 160 either way if you pick a winner. You have any thoughts on the Premier League there, Joe?
Yeah, that's what I like about soccer, and football. With the scenario here with this Arsenal game and Liverpool, whoever you take, you're getting value. You're getting a good ROI, and that's very unusual. Like in any other sport, you really can't get that. Whether you're betting baseball or NBA or the NFL, when you're taking one team, you're not getting plus 150 or plus 160.
Oh, we lost Joe. Oh, there he is.
Jumped on Liverpool in this matchup here. I took the ROI, but either way, whoever wins, is going to put them in a good position there. But that's what I like about the soccer games. Whoever you pick, and with both teams I think they're almost evenly matched. I know Liverpool has had fairly good success against Arsenal.
Yes, they've 4 in a row in the league. and they beat them to get to the League Cup as well last year.
Let's go Liverpool. I'm taking the ROI with Liverpool.
Arsenal at home has been good.
Let's see. Hey, Amedeus is the ex-soccer expert. Let's ask him. What does he have to say? I want to hear. Is he going to buck the Wiz or is he riding the wagon?
Oh, man, I'm a huge Arsenal believer. I think they're one of the best teams in the Premier League this year. I have them slotted in number 2 behind Man City at the end of the year. And I just think this is a different Arsenal team. It's a different Liverpool team. Liverpool's fallen apart. They have no flow to their attack with Sadio Mane gone. Darwin Nunez isn't gonna fix the problems for them. This Arsenal team can score, and they got a good defense. Sean said it himself. They've been good at home. I like Arsenal in this one, but I don't know. I'm high on them this year.
I can't wait to come on next week. I can't wait to go on next week and say the Wiz crushes the genius at Amedeus or Liverpool in a shocker over Arsenal.
Oh man, I will not be betting Liverpool in this game. That's for sure. That's like the lesser of.
No, I respect your guys' opinion a lot more.
There's a couple of big games.
I respect your opinions a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Like, I mean, we've been pretty good with this. Everton United, obviously, I'm going to side with United, but I don't know. I need to see the lineup first. I think Everton's been playing well. You're getting Manchester United plus money. Crystal Palace, Leeds, West Ham, Fulham, Amedeus. Either of those two games kind of you like any of those two?
Yeah, Crystal Palace is interesting. I mentioned they have that streak where they're very good to the under when they're playing at home, and you're getting the under at plus money here. About even money for the under 2.5. So Leeds, they're not a good road team, and they haven't been scoring a lot of goals in their last. I think they're coming off a 0-0 draw in their last match. I think it was against Aston Villa, actually. They were at home for that one. And they were given the red card, but still, that was going to be a low-scoring match from the start. Aston Villa's got a good defense, and I think Leeds is going to probably struggle on a good defense here in Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace hasn't been playing great, but they could play defense at home, so I could see that game going under.
Hey, guys, I got to Zoom. Hey, Sean, I got a Zoom to do at 12, so I want to thank you for having me on, and I want to, hopefully I'll be on more. I want to remind everyone if they want a copy of the tip sheet, they can go follow me on Instagram or Twitter, Joe Wiz Sports, or go to my website, joewizsports.com. I'm looking for a big weekend. Hopefully we kick it off today with some NFL and some baseball winners. We're rooting for the Mets. We gave that out. We gave out Rutgers +3. So on Twitter, Joe Wiz Sports, same thing on Instagram. And Amedeus, good luck with everything, and thank you for having me on, Sean, and I'd like to be back on next week, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime on Fridays are great, and all right, and then make sure you go follow him, and then we'll see Joe next week. Thank you, Joe.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Have a good one, man.
All right. So
I like his football looks. I like his stuff. He's got some good football looks there.
Guys, listen, I know you guys
talking about.
You guys are following here. I know you follow me and you follow Amedeus here on Twitter. If Foxy, Lex, anybody that's in the room still, anybody that's watching later, Jim Bobby, go follow this guy on Twitter and Instagram. The stuff is at the bottom here. He's just we could have a show for an hour and just talk about how he used to do this stuff in the 80s for the computer syndicate and stuff like this. He used to put bets in for big time people in New York City. He's got some stories you could tell. Chris Lyons, we'll just keep going through this real quickly, and then we'll go through a little bit of side guys. So do you like anything on that West Ham Fulham game at all, or not really?
West Ham's been playing better. They just won 1-0 in the Conference League over a pretty good Anderlecht team. I know Anderlecht hasn't been playing well lately, but, they went on the road in Belgium, won that game 1-0, and they did it with their bench squad because they did not have their starters on the field in that game. I don't know if maybe they subbed them in late in the match, but they played a solid 60 minutes of that match with just bench guys on the field. So I think West Ham, they've been getting better. They're coming off the 2-0 win against the Wolves in their last one. But at the same time, I think Fulham is going to be a little upset over their 4-0 loss. That game was kind of ruined for them with the red card. They really had no chance getting the red card 15 minutes into it. I think they even after they got the red card, they knew they were done. They subbed Mitrovic out in the 20th minute. So like that was like basically them saying, we're gonna rest you and put the eggs in the next basket in the next game or whatever. So I think there could be some goals here. I could see Fulham scoring on West Ham on the road here, and I could see West Ham scoring some goals. Fulham's gonna force this game to go over just because that's the only way they know how to win games or even get points is by scoring goals, and I think West Ham's going to have to try and keep up with that.
Heracles scores goals. Chris is asking about the best bets today. I like the Eredivisie games a little bit. I've been having a little success with them. I would say probably PEC Zwolle, who's in second, maybe do a over 2.5 goals for Zwolle against a bad team at plus 123. That's in the Eredivisie. And then, basically what I'll do is I'll look for these teams trying to play these teams in this league and maybe hope for a big result. So I think sometimes you'll find that's probably the best game to take there. Willem Twey is playing. Den Bosch, I think, is terrible. Yeah, down here. I don't like that. That would be probably my best bet. Amedeus likes this is just for today, by the way. Amedeus likes Osasuna a little bit today at plus 143. Polina returns from suspension for Fulham. I think a lot depends on Mitro's Phoenix puts Kamaka on fire lately. I agree.
He was one who didn't play in that Anderlecht game, Skamaka, so he's got some rest too.
Yes. In the Bundesliga, can't bet that game. I can't.
I'm just telling you, I want to go on record. Watch out for Werder Bremen today. If you're thinking about taking Hoffenheim,
plus 240.
Watch out for Werder Bremen, man.
Bayern Munich plays Borussia Dortmund on Saturday. That's the 12:30 game. It used to be a big game. I don't know here. I don't know where you go with that. I think maybe over. I think Bayern Munich probably. I don't know. I mean, but Borussia Dortmund looked good in the week against Sofia, but they stink. So I don't even know if you could bet that game. I to be honest, I'll just stay away from that league. And then you have
passing over it lately.
Yeah, it's just like AC Milan, Juventus. Oh, big one there, man. Look at that. Inter's minus 139 against Sassuolo. Wow, how about that?
Got a few dog turd derbies there. AC Milan, Juventus. You want to talk terrible?
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Where is Italy? There it is. Sassuolo. That's early too. Where's Sassuolo on the table? Not bad. Inter right here minus 139, but once again they have a big game during the week, so maybe pass that up. League One PSG is probably minus 8 million. Minus 265. That's not terrible. Maybe PSG minus 2.5. Reims.
Oh my God! Why wouldn't they win that game 12-0? Because they're on the road. It's not like they have to travel for Champions League. They're going to be playing Benfica at home.
They have one win. Reims is one win. This would probably be my best bet here. Chris Lyons, here you go. Surely Leverkusen will win. Foxy, that's your money. Good value in Spezia away, plus 310. They've only played the top teams away this season. If you want to bet Leverkusen, Foxy, go. I will not be following you. I can't bet that team. I have no idea who's going to show up. They could be good. They could be bad.
Foxy, you did this with Basel yesterday. Just stay off the risky teams. Wait till Leverkusen makes the turn with Xabi Alonso, then hop on him.
PSG minus 1.5 here is plus 102. Chris, if that's, I would say probably take them. Lexia, I think the NFL is trying to expand to Europe. Well, yeah, maybe. I know they have that league over there. My friend does it. Marseille is minus 275 against the Ajaccio. I don't even know where Ajaccio is in the
They're
table.
newly promoted side, man.
Oh,
They're so
they're
bad.
terrible.
They're going right back to League Two.
Yeah, look, you want to parlay? Here's your parlay. Ready? Asian lines. Marseille minus. I'm going to be safe. I'm taking -1. I think you could be a little more. I think you could be a little more risky if you want. Marseille -1, PSG -1.5 is +223. If you want to be Marseille -1.5 and take a chance against those bums at Ajaccio, then you can get +338. I think that's decent. I think both those teams win. I don't know about Marseille 1.5. Once again, they have a big game. I'm not sure about their squad depth, so maybe I would be a little bit. Gotta go. Hey, Lex, thanks for following. Make sure you follow Joe Wiz over there in the socials and sign up for his free newsletter. It's pretty good. He gives out like a lot of free picks, and he's pretty good with it. So if you guys like free picks, like I know you do because you're here, so just sign up for his stuff. So go to joewizsports.com. And then I don't know. Any bets in Austria this weekend? Oh, that's Australia. Never mind. Austria Bundesliga.
I haven't looked at it, but let's see.
Swarovski Crystal. Sturm Graz against Swarovski Crystals. Whoa. Red Bull Salzburg. I don't know how you.
Salzburg. They're just like they tied with Lask Linz in their last match at home too.
I think Linz is all right though, right?
Yeah, Lask Linz is going to win the title this year because they don't have any European competition to worry about, so they can just focus on the league.
They went deep in that tournament last year, so
yeah, I think because Sturm Graz, like we saw them in Conference League yesterday, and then obviously Salzburg's in Champions League. So I think, man, this is Lask Linz's league to lose this year because they have less.
Say that again quickly.
Just as
Lask Linz league to lose.
Oh, Lask Linz lead to. That's like that thing that actors say: yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. That's got to be like your lip warm up exercises. Lask Linz league to lose. So
Foxy says he only bets the third division 18.
Hey man, 1860 Munich makes you the money. You stick with them. It's better than those bums Basel. God, I hate them.
All right, so listen, if you have any questions about games over the weekend or lineups, obviously give us a text give us a tweet, whatever. You can find us on our Twitter page, and we'll try to answer them. I'll be all over the place, but I will be looking at my phone at some point. So other than that, we're back on Monday, and it's another week. It's a huge week. We got Champions League again. We got Europa League. We're going to try to go, match day 3, 4, 5. Remember, those are the team places you make your money. So, you got another week to make some money here, and then when a break, and then they come back, and then by that time we're almost at the World Cup. So, and that's going to be chaos, the World Cup. So, we'll stay posted. But thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and make sure you tune in next week for some more winners, and tell your friends because we are on fire right now.